Well, howdy, y'all. My name's Carly, and I'm an intern here at the Layland this summer. I'd like to take a moment and tell you a little bit about one of the coolest artifacts in our collection. It's unique to Cleburne, it's used every day, and it's really big. Have you guessed it? It's the building itself. Our building began its life as a library and is still a place for knowledge and learning. However, our library was part of a bigger story that helped shape the public library system we know today. The original home of Cleburne Public Library, our building was built thanks to a grant from Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie's latter years saw him become a philanthropist, and he was responsible for funding over 2,500 libraries around the world from 1883 to 1929, including our own library here in Cleburne. Of the 32 Carnegie libraries built in Texas, only 13 are still standing, so we're very lucky indeed to still have this amazing place. Funding received by these communities was dependent upon the total population of the area, and the cities had to match the funds being granted. We know that many communities throughout the United States had their women's clubs petition for these grants, because of course it was women who got it done. And we know that Cleburne is no different. We had a women's club here who worked very hard to make sure that we got the funding and the grants to be able to build this library. In fact, legend has it that one lady in particular boarded a train for New York and petitioned Andrew Carnegie's secretary in person to make sure that this library came to Cleburne. Most Carnegie libraries were built with steps leading up to their entrance. Some people say that this represents Carnegie's idea that you needed to take that first step yourself in order to receive education. Other people say that this is representing the idea that a man becomes elevated when they're educated. While there's no doubt that this building is truly a work of art in its own, there was an error made in its construction. If you look closely at this decorative element, these little bits of wheat are upside down compared to all the rest of them. Personally, I like to tap it for good luck when I enter. In its nearly 120-year history, some changes have been made to the building. For example, we needed a public bathroom in the 1970s. So unfortunately, that meant getting rid of one of our staircases. Yep, at one point there would have been twin staircases here, and the other one would have been a reflection of the one on this side. The area that we now know and love as the main gallery of the Layland Museum was once home to the stacks of the library. The concept of open stacks was born out of necessity. When Carnegie libraries were first starting to be built, open stacks simply didn't exist. You would enter the library, approach the desk, and ask the person working there to find the book you were looking for. However, many of the small communities requesting grants couldn't afford to have the number of staff required to have that system work. Therefore, the open stack system was born. This left visitors to libraries able to browse freely and find the books they wanted to find for themselves. Although the interior is mostly a standard beige now, at one point these doors were natural wood, and these would have been natural burlap. In fact, next time you're in the museum, have a look and see if you can see the painted burlap on the doors. This was an early attempt at soundproofing. You want to know a secret? Come on, I'll show you. This door, which is actually inside of one of our cleaning supply closets, is left intact and original. They've got this beautiful dark wood and the beautiful natural burlap on the wall. Carnegie libraries like ours that were built towards the beginning of the grant funding were often built with some special extras. Some of them had swimming pools, gymnasiums, ballrooms that people could rent out, but ours has a theater. Our beautiful theater has been home to performances and speakers throughout the years. In fact, we've been even told that about 100 years ago, a small church met here. For a short period of time, our museum was even housed up here. This beautiful hand-painted backdrop behind me was painted in the 1980s as a fundraiser, and it still graces our stage today. In the back of our theater, we've got this big blue sofa. It's always a hit with the kids during a field trip. Can you imagine how many kids we can get piled on this thing? One of Andrew Carnegie's stipulations with his library was that they would be free and for public use. The Layland continues in that tradition today, as we and our sister museum, the Cleburne Railroad Museum, both offer free admission. Please come check out our beautiful building and our amazing collections and learn more today.